So I think it's time that I started my full playthrough of the Tomb Raider series from start to finish, and there is no better time than now to do that, because we have been gifted in 2024 on Valentine's Day, Lara Croft's birthday, with the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered collection, which has just dropped. As of making this video, just dropped today. So I'm super excited to get into that and talk about all the different things that they have done. And certainly, as we can see by the 3 beautiful Laras there, they have really captured the original aesthetic. Certainly the CGI cutscene Lara that we all know and love. But like all of these types of videos that I make where I play through a series that I have quite a history with, I kind of like to give a little bit of context before I start as to where I'm coming from. And as you can see from the Lara behind me here, I am a massive fan of Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider series. I think it is one of the best out there. I'm definitely a big fan and a big proponent of the original Lara Croft from 1 to Angel of Darkness. And yeah, I've kept with the series throughout. I've played every game in this series, the mainline series, from this original saga, we'll call it, the Legend trilogy, and of course the Survivor trilogy. Now, as time has gone on, my feelings on the second trilogy, the Legend trilogy, have kind of lowered, we'll say. I certainly loved them at the time because big fan of Tomb Raider, and it was new at the time. I was young. It was kind of the right time, right moment when those games came out. I certainly really enjoyed them. Underworld in particular, I'm actually a massive fan of. And then, of course, the Survivor trilogy, which has, you know, it has a controversial place, we'll say, in the Tomb Raider community at large. Certainly from people in my age group and a little older than me who grew up with OG Lara and kind of lament the days of the fun, exciting action hero, kind of kick-ass heroine vibe that the original Tomb Raider had. And there's a lot of good in that Survivor trilogy. There's definitely a lot of things about it I do like, and I loved playing the 2013 Tomb Raider game when that came out. I still actually think that that's a great game, but all those games I've only played once fully through, including the Legend trilogy as well. I've only played them once through. But we'll get to that if we ever do get to that. I'll see how I'm feeling once I finish these 6 original saga games. I think it's cool that the team at Aspyr have this is their second run actually at the Tomb Raider series, because they did do the mobile conversions of Tomb Raider 1 and 2, which were released on like iPhone and Android and all that, I think around 10 years ago nearly at this stage. And those I thought were great. In fact, in the modding community, a lot of people they actually scraped out the high definition textures that they used at that time and inputted them back into, you could fan mod them back into the original game. But anyway, Tomb Raider 1 is what we're all about today, and funnily enough, my own history with Tomb Raider did not start with Tomb Raider 1. It actually started with Tomb Raider 2. Now, I will get into that story when I get into Tomb Raider 2 at large, but just know that I did not start on Tomb Raider 1. I started on Tomb Raider 2 to be particular, and also I never was a console Tomb Raider player until Angel of Darkness, and everything beyond I've played on the console. So to me, actually at heart, Tomb Raider is a PC game. The development of Tomb Raider, I'm not really going to get much into it, just because there's so much online about it. It's super interesting actually, and I would highly recommend you checking it out. But of course, as we all know, Tomb Raider is originally released in 1996 by a very small team at the time, around 20 or 22 people, give or take. And yeah, they were all the way from Derby in England. I have actually been to Derby a number of times, twice now actually, for a Tomb Raider, I suppose you could call it a Tomb Raider celebration day or a Tomb Raider convention that goes on there every year, and I would highly recommend that. It's actually quite a bit of fun. But yes, so Core Design were the original team that made it, and Toby Gard, who actually left the company before they even released the first game, is credited with creating Lara Croft Croft herself. And in fact, Lara Croft originally was going to be a person called Lara Cruz, or Lara Cruz, but Lara Cruz is really what it should be. Funnily enough, whilst to me Tomb Raider is a PC game, and while to many other people Tomb Raider is a PlayStation series, Tomb Raider, as we all know, started life as a Sega Saturn game. I do have a Sega Saturn I do have a Sega Saturn now, and I have bought Tomb Raider. When I was thinking about doing this, like, I've been thinking about doing a full series playthrough of Tomb Raider for a long time now, really, because I really wanted to kind of see the development of the game from the first game to where we are now. But like, I'm a stickler for OG hardware, and I actually really would have liked to play the first game on Sega Saturn to see how it feels. And we all know that in PAL territories we got kind of worse systems overall than the rest of the world. But yeah, I just thought with the remaster kind of collection coming out, I probably should try that. And in fact, I would have even liked to have played all these games on the PC, because that's where I feel most at home. I actually feel I'm certainly better at controlling Lara with a keyboard than I would be with a console controller. But I am going to be playing the Remastered collection. Anyway, enough waffling on. Very quickly, with Tomb Raider 1, whilst I got Tomb Raider 2 originally with a family PC that I got when I was younger, which you can actually see over there, that's the same family PC that I played Tomb Raider 2 on, and I'll get into that story when I get to it. But Tomb Raider 1, my initial playing of it was from getting a sold out copy, which this actually is the copy that I had of Tomb Raider 1 from Sold Out Software. You probably, if you're from the UK or Ireland or maybe even Europe, I actually don't know how far Sold Out Software got. I know that they certainly were a British company, but they were selling games at the time for like $4.99, super cheap. And a lot of my early memories of playing PC games was through this team that were basically taking games that did very well and re-releasing them then in, we'll say, cheap packaging at a very, very low price. And that was where I originally played Tomb Raider 1. Now, coming from Tomb Raider 2, which is kind of, there's a lot more stuff in Tomb Raider 2 in terms of like its graphics are better, its sounds are better. The level design I actually personally think is better in Tomb Raider 2 than Tomb Raider 1. So coming backwards from Tomb Raider 2 to Tomb Raider 1, at the time when I was like, what, 8, 9, 10 or whatever, when I finally got this game, when I played it, I actually wasn't all that fussed about Tomb Raider 1. I just thought, oh, it's just like a lesser version of Tomb Raider 2. Funny enough, in here I actually put a little sticker with my name on it as well, which I think is kind of cute. Like, I was just a massive fan of Tomb Raider, and I didn't actually finish Tomb Raider 1 for many years, because look, these games, certainly when you were a kid and when they came out, were hard. They were super hard. But I've decided to forego going OG hardware or OG games for this remastered collection, because I think that's the right way to go. And just one more thing that I'd like to point out, I have this really, really cool, I suppose you could call it, yeah, it's an official companion. It's for the Angel of Darkness, but in the front of the book, it has this really beautiful, I don't know if you can even see it there, it has this really cool making of section of the original Tomb Raider games. I don't know, there's not much you can see there, but yeah, look, there's Lara, there's that cartoon Lara that we have right behind me. It's a super cool book, and actually a lot of the history, when I got this, because this came out during the time of the Angel of Darkness, when I got that, a lot of that information was completely new to me, a lot of the making of, and of course that's where I learned about that she was originally going to be I think South American lady called Lara Cruz, which I think is kind of it's fun, you know, that they changed the name, made her more British then. And of course, as we all know, Tomb Raider was kind of heavily inspired by the likes of Indiana Jones and Tank Girl, the comic character that then became a film character. It might be the other way around, but I think she was a comic character originally, Tank Girl. And yeah, of course, core design, one of their games was actually a game called Rick Dangerous. I believe it's an Amiga game. I might be wrong on that. It could also be a Commodore game, but I do believe it's an Amiga game. And I think there was at the time where they were talking about potentially doing a Rick Dangerous game. But of course, Rick Dangerous, if you actually look at the character design of Rick Dangerous, he is just a dead ringer for Indiana Jones. And I'd say they just didn't want to go through maybe the copyright problems that would have probably posed. Anyway, so yeah, Tomb Raider 1. I'm going to start with that, and let's get into the menu finally of the Tomb Raider Remastered collection. I will be playing on PS5 because that, I think, is the easiest for me. Beautiful logo, and yeah, let's get into seeing how all these new fandangled graphics and controller features that they've kind of sold as the potential differences for more modern audiences. Right, will I sign my soul away to this company? Yes, why not? Right, okay, yeah. Aspyr. So yeah, Aspyr, I don't really know much about their extended history, but certainly their mobile ports of the Tomb Raider games I was a fan of. Games in this collection contain offensive depictions of people, and I suppose that is them covering their arses for modern audiences. So here we are. And it is pretty much the exact same menu as the original Tomb Raider. And I suppose we can go down here to the different games. I like that they're all in one. They're all in one package. We'll get into those games when we get to them. But here we are in Tomb Raider 1. So as always, I'm kind of thinking of doing it level by level, and I think I will start each game with Lara's home as its own separate thing, because Lara's home is one of those special things in Tomb Raider that I'm actually quite sad that they took out in The Last Revelation and Chronicles. Let's have a look at what the extras have. They have absolutely nothing. That's why would you even put them in extras? The credits and the license agreement. Okay, sounds cool. Subtitles, yeah, so this is a thing that will come up as we play, that there actually will be subtitles throughout the game. They have a serious amount of languages here. That's actually class that they've catered to a big audience. The controls. So yeah, this is going to be one of the interesting things for me, is that we have tank controls or we have modern controls. I'm going to be super interested to see what the modern controls feel like, because I've heard that they're going to give us free camera movement for the first time in these original games, which I think is insane. Because as we all know, with the original tank controls, the camera is locked right behind Lara, and I think it's inherent to the gameplay actually. I'm not quite sure what walk to action means, or action indicators. I suppose action indicators might be like pop-ups on switches and stuff, maybe. We'll get into that. Vibration, of course, and yeah, when I press the vibration on, it does vibrate just to make sure. Dead zone, invert, sensitivity. So that's going to be directly related to the camera controls, I would imagine. And I can actually go in and alter each control. So yeah, as I said, PC really is where I started with the Tomb Raider games. So playing them on a controller, I might actually not be as good as I am on the PC, but we'll see how we get on when we get there. Anyway, so I'm going to get into Lara's home, and we are going to enjoy possibly one of the most, I think, intelligent actual design for a tutorial level ever. Right, and it looks like they've AI upscaled the introduction CG videos as well. Oh, cool. Oh, yes, right.
Welcome to my home. I'll take you on a guided tour.
Right, so they've given Lara, in the OG Lara, they've actually given her a ponytail, which she did not have in the original Tomb Raider release in 1996. Yeah, so those loading screens, it's kind of funny because on the original PC releases of all the games, they're, the third game, maybe in fourth and fifth, do have loading screens, but the original Tomb Raider 1 on the PC release does not have those loading screens. So that's cool that they've remade the loading screens as well and put them into this section, even though they're not needed whatsoever, obviously, because we're all playing on SSDs. The first thing I can say anyway is it is a screen filling experience, as we can all see here. That is one of my favorite things about the original Tomb Raider series, is the design of the zero HUD. There is no heads up display. Obviously, when you pull out a weapon, they might give you a number up the top left about the bullets, and when you're getting hit, life bar will come up. But that is one of the things I love about the design of the original Tomb Raider, is that there is nothing on the screen. Nothing gets in the way of the game. So anyway, let's have a look around. The textures are actually so HD that they're cutting my eyes. And they've even gone to the effort of updating the outside textures as well, and made them feel completely 3D as opposed to just the flat 2D texture of the original games. So how do I actually, like, what are the controls here? How do I switch back to the original graphics look? Start. Well, there we are. Look at it. Oh my god, it still looks great. I actually love the design and how these games look. Like, the difference is stark though. That's crazy. Oh my god. I love the way though that, like, the Halo collection and like the Monkey Island remasters and all those LucasArts remastered, actually, that you can go from old graphics to new. So as we can see, look outside the window. How do I get a L1? So as we can see, it's just basically almost, there is actually a three-dimensional model, but it's just a rectangle or a cube. It's just a cube with 2D sprites on it, basically. But they've even gone to the effort of modeling, a basic version of the outside of the mansion as well, which we won't actually get out there until the second game. That's cool. So, like, looking at this little area where Lara was, like in the original, I never got the sense that, oh, Lara was just up here, enjoying herself, having a relaxing lie down on a kind of a window ledge. But now they've kind of given that kind of feel where she's reading a book. What's she reading about? Let's have a look. What is Lara interested in? Vilcabamaba. That is a really hard word to pronounce. I am terrible at pronouncing stuff, by the way. The Lost City of the Incas. So I suppose she's just reading about, what she's interested in checking out, hopefully, in this game. Let's have a quick look at the Lara model. This, like, it's crazy to see an accurate model to the CG Lara. Like, obviously the proportions and stuff are like basically non-human, but it looks great. It really does. They've gone to the effort of like modeling her individual toes on her feet as well. That's so great. Interesting that they've kind of slightly changed the camera there, that it's really showing off the Lara model. I don't know, that's crazy. I'm so glad that they've brought out an updated version that isn't, because I've played fan mods that have this style of Lara character input back into the game, and they look great, but to actually have gone away and released it as an official release it's really a great thing, and it's a great thing for the fans. Anyway, I am absolutely caught up in this beautifully textured world. Like, I wonder what picture of what bookshelf that is in the world. Like, where is that? It's class. It's brilliant. She's got some paintings on the wall, some old fancy paintings. They're not even there in the original. Okay, cool. Do you know, the textures are really they're faithful and they're like not changing it enough that it's completely different. Like, they're being faithful to those. That carpet it's nearly like, when I played the game originally, I would look at the carpet and I would think nothing of it, because like I've never been a massive graphics whore, I suppose you could say. Like, I've never been a person that's like, I need to have the best graphics ever. So like, the Tomb Raider games always have looked good to me. The funny thing is though, will I be playing these games mostly in this version, or will I be playing them in the original, or will I just be going around constantly checking every individual little detail as I go on? I don't know. The fireplace has a hole as well for the fire to go up, which is cool. Yeah, it's super faithful. I actually really like it. Okay, awesome. I suppose I'll move out of this room soon enough. It's just I'm just so taken. I want to look at everything that they've done. Lara enjoying the view of her home, which she will, remodel after that grueling business last year. We got some more cool paintings. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, right, let's go down here and absolutely bounce Lara off a wall.
Okay, let's do some tumbling. Press the jump button. Now press it again and quickly press one of the directions and I'll jump that way.
Back. Oh, forward even. Beautiful, Lara. Wonderful. Right. Yeah, it's just really, it's super faithful, like. It's actually crazy how seamless actually the change is. Because a lot of these remasters, they kind of change things. They differ things almost too much. Whereas this just feels completely faithful. What's the piece of music down here? Of course, I haven't even talked about the music yet in these games. Nathan McCree, incredible soundtrack. What is that piece of music? Oh, I wish now that I had the time to work out what the piece of music is. I do play music and I can read music, albeit very, very slowly. Yeah, if anybody knows, and if anybody's good at reading music quickly, I'd be very curious as to what that piece of music is. They haven't allowed Lara to play any of these instruments yet. That's actually a thing in the games that we've never seen. Is like Lara clearly has studied music in some fashion, but we've never actually heard her play. That would be quite cool. Alright, okay. Oh my god. The outside textures. But yeah, it's just the beauty of these games. And the shadows. Oh, there's shadows on the ground as well. There's so much beautiful stuff to look at. And the light rays coming in. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, the shadows are beautiful. Obviously, another way of playing this game now on modern systems, and you can actually play it in your browser, is Open Lara, which I'm sure anybody watching this will be.
Sorry about the crates. I'm having some things put into storage and the delivery people haven't been yet.
No, they have not. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably heard of that if you're a fan of the series. Yeah, it's just super faithful. And just the design of like the extremely large, everything is so big. Like that door, Lara looks like a child next to the door, like, please mommy, let me in. That's fucking brilliant. Oh my god. But yeah, so these training levels, I think, are a really excellent way of having a tutorial that you can choose to interact with if you want. You do not have to go into Lara's home at all at any point. You can completely forego doing this section of the game, which I really like. Because it's kind of annoying when games just kind of make you, they just kind of go, right, this is the opening tutorial level and you have to play it. There's not that much in...
To a crate, and while still pressing forward, press action and I'll vault up onto it.
Okay, Lara, I will do that. We have the Ark of the Covenant down here from Indiana Jones, which I think is quite funny. I wonder was that the original intention of the designers at Core Design? That's something I've never actually even thought about. Because like when you look at that box, you go, oh, it kind of looks like the Ark of the Covenant, but you don't actually look at it immediately and go Ark of the Covenant. But now that is just totally the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I wonder, oh, the front gate is even modelled as well. Oh, and what? Yeah, the fish is modelled, and we cannot see outside at all in the original game. We just see a weird strange rolling hills pixelated mess outside, which I love. And they've actually moved where the windows are so you can actually see outside. Rightio, rightio. So let us walk up to a crate and climb. Well done, Lara. It's just such an intelligent way as well of getting players at the time in 1996 who wouldn't have played very many 3D. Like 3D was completely new, and I was actually looking it up before this video, before making this video. 1996 was an incredible year for games. In fact, I would actually class 1996. Like 1998 is considered one of the best years of all time for gaming, but 1996, the amount of like new experiences that came out that year and were kind of industry defining in a way, or industry changing. So you had obviously Tomb Raider 1 came out in 1996. You had Mario 64 on the N64, which basically changed 3D platforming. You had Tekken 2, which arguably is, you know, Tekken 3 is amazing, and there's a lot of other great Tekken games, but Tekken 2 is the one that, like, wow, this is Tekken as a series. Resident Evil 1 came out, which again can be argued was not the first or godfather of the survival horror genre, certainly defined it and changed the industry dramatically. You had games like Crash Bandicoot came out that year. Yeah, Quake on the PC. So 1996, I didn't realize, like, I always knew, you know, great games that I loved came out in 1996, but 1996 is such a powerful year of games, and genre defining, industry defining. Is there a picture there? There actually is. Do they, in this new version, have they modeled the door under the stairs, the secret door from 2 and 3? Is that actually modeled down there? It doesn't look like it is. They've added a little light. What's funny is when I was a kid and I played Tomb Raider 1 and this house, and the house is much less fully fledged in this game than it is in Tomb Raider 2. I kind of always felt like the original game, it feels like it's nighttime in the house, even though it might not be. It always felt like it was at nighttime. Like, I'm seeing there now the textures outside the windows up there, like they're either dusk or middle of the day, and obviously this is completely daytime in this version. So that's something that I think they've come down on that point of making it. It's definitely daytime.
But I've converted it into my own personal gym.
Very nice.
Well, let's do some exercises.
And of course we have Shelly Blonde.
I actually run everywhere. When I want to be careful, I walk.
Okay.
Hold down the walk button and walk with the walk button down.
Whoa.
You won't fall off even if you try to make me. Go on, try it.
I like that they've kept in that like that Lara will just jump over to the next line as soon as you move on to the square that they've set as the point where her next line comes. But yeah, we've Shelly Blonde in her only role as Lara, the first game, and yeah, it's I think it's that she did a great job, and it's oh,
press and hold the look button.
Yeah.
Then press in the direction you want to look.
I know, Lara. I know. I'm well aware. Yeah, so there's so little in this house. I'm kind of just absolutely dragging the arse out of it here. But yeah, Shelly Blonde, of course, is our Lara from Tomb Raider 1 before it was taken over by the wonderful and beautiful soul, actually, Judith Gibbons, who I have met, and she was a lovely lady. But yeah, Shelly Blonde was only in this game. So again, we've got more kind of interesting modelling of the outdoors. Is that a fountain over there? And they didn't put a fountain in because obviously they're trying to stay true to the Tomb Raider 2 and 3 outdoors before she kind of remodeled it. And of course, you're going to be remodeling it again, Lara, in Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb Raider 3. You're going to change it to a ballroom for 1 year, and then for the next year, you're going to change it back
Grab the ledge and
to a gym for 3. Okay.
Walk to the edge with the white line.
Yeah.
I won't go any further. Then press jump immediately, followed by forward, and while I'm in the air, press and hold the action button. Okay,
I will do that.
Press forward and I'll climb up.
Lovely stuff. Beautiful, Lara. Excellent stuff. What's funny is one of the things about this original Tomb Raider kind of saga 1 to 5 is that a lot of people that made the transition, certainly people that are a small bit older than myself, kind of look back at this era of gaming with less than positive vibes, because, you know, 2D games were at their pinnacle, and then we moved over to early 3D, which was finding its feet. A lot of people think the controls of these games are bad, whereas I love how these games feel, and I actually think that certainly on the PC I'm going to be more acrobatic, but I think the feeling... they've actually put subtitles in this version as well, in a kind of pixelated way. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I think that Lara, once you get the hang of her, and I think that's why this this training level is so important, is to get a feel for how she actually moves, so that you can perform all the like dexterous acrobatics that Lara is able to do, which I think is, it's one of these things that it takes a bit of time to get used to how she moves, but once you do, I think Lara is very, very agile of a character, actually. Right, what does she have to say to me now?
I can make a jump like that, no problem.
Okay. Right.
Walk to the edge with the white line and
I don't really need to walk to the edge, but I will.
Let go of walk and tap backwards to give me a run up.
Okay.
Press forward and almost immediately press and hold the jump button.
I will.
I won't actually jump until the last minute.
Okay. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Lara. Right, I suppose I should try out these... I haven't even talked about the menu yet, which is an iconic menu. We have a compass, beautifully modelled. I actually didn't realise until right this moment, it never struck me, but the background of the original menu is black as well. They've slightly changed the inventory ever so slightly, in that they've given it the X and O button, which weren't in the originals as far as I remember. I've got the options and stuff. Do they look remodeled, or are they, it's just up-res, that's why? Is that... Looking at that control, I've never actually looked long enough at that controller icon. It's it looks like a Game Boy with Pong on it. Well, a very strange Game Boy, but a Game Boy nonetheless. Okay, that's the options. So what I need to do is, what I want to try, how do I get to controls? I want to change to the modern controls, because I want to see how these feel. So... before I press anything, is it going to be tank controls, or are they going to give free movement? Because I know they give you free camera movement, which is the weirdest thing. This is so strange, to have free camera movement in a Tomb Raider game. I don't know how I feel about it. Because I'm so used to it not being there, that having free camera movement now is actually strange. Let's just take a look. I didn't even realise until now, Lara's eyes are blinking as well. And her eyes moving around. They are. Oh, that's cool. That gives her so much more life. She's got pencil thin eyebrows in the original. That's awesome. The model is class. It's amazing. It is. It's... oh my god, that's weird. How does that even play? That's so strange. Why is square walk? Square is walk. That's so strange.
When I want to be careful, I walk.
Oh my god, X is jump. Why is X jump? Square is walk. That is so strange. So what the hell is grab on? What's the action button in this case? What is the action button? R2 is the action button. I like the way they've modelled her fingers as well to actually go out. They splay out, you know, when she's going for a grab. I don't know how I feel about playing Tomb Raider games with modern controls. Being able to make Lara do that in OG Lara is so strange. Oh my god. It's a completely different game.
Until I stop. Then let go of walk and tap backwards.
Does it make the game way more forgiving for modern players? I think it might.
Run everywhere.
I can't believe it took me that long to actually try out this control method.
Grab the ledge and save myself from a nasty fall. Walk to the
right, let's have a look at this pot of gold down here. Well, bag of gold. Feast your eyes on this. What was that for?
Press forward.
Take a close look at tons of gold. Okay, there's my first trophy in the game.
Jump until the last minute.
How do you look in this mode? Whoa, you click in to look. That's a pot of gold, alright. I wonder, have they added any secrets further into these games? Like, into the more secrets into the mansions? Like, is there stuff in this?
Big one. So do a running jump exactly as before, except while I'm in the air,
Right.
hold the action button to make me grab the ledge.
But how would you hop back in this modern controls? Or is it just way more forgiving? It's way more forgiving, that's what it is. So she'll actually jump almost immediately now, before it was more of a run up. I don't know how I feel about I don't think the modern controls are for me. It's cool, it's great that it exists because it'll definitely make
Nice.
R2 being grab on. That's so strange. Nice. Thanks very much, Lara.
To vault up here. I can't.
She's such an iconic character.
Small.
Oh, if I hold X, will she do a grab as well?
Sideways until there is room.
Yeah.
Then press forward.
This is so interesting. Does she have those arm guards in the original? She does. I suppose they're sweatbands, actually.
Backwards, and I'll jump off backwards.
But you see, so how do
Hold the action button, and I'll grab the ledge on the way down.
I do a tap back? Well, there's the health bar. I'm going to probably have to change where my camera is for the episodes that I make of this, just so you can see my health bar as well. So how do you do a tap back in this version? Yeah, I have no idea. Whoa. Okay. Right, let's move on to the swimming pool in this modern controls. Wow, okay, they've given us updated, kind of real looking, I suppose, what would you call them? They're like
The jump button and the directions.
stone
Underwater.
carvings. Yeah, carvings, I suppose is what you call them. That's really cool. And they've modeled a proper looking sky outside instead of just a large white texture. In fact, I actually think that there is no texture outside those windows. Those windows are just textured white. So they've actually modeled the outdoors as well. That's really cool. What they've done with the texture work here is pretty class. It's pretty incredible, really. And just the addition of like flowers and stuff that have been modeled in 3D as opposed to the old style just 2D sprites that we see, you know, the flat 2D sprites that have been made into kind of like a square or a cross. It's pretty cool though. It's awesome. Super, super awesome. Okay, well, I think enough of admiring Lara's beautiful new home. Is there any buttons behind her? This is what I mean. Have they added anything into the game? Right. She can freely move around the water with this. That is really unusual to see Lara, to feel Lara moving like that. I don't know if I'll be playing the game like this. The modern controls don't feel right to me at all. This is coming from a person who is like used to playing Tomb Raider in the old style. Will she still swim if I press anything? No. So the only way to swim in this mode is to actually just freely move the body around, and then you pitch her with the camera by the looks of it. I'd say they did some hacking of the code in order to make that work seamlessly, especially probably with the old graphics as well. I haven't quite looked into it yet, but I wonder, have they modeled the water in the way the PC version is or in the way the original PlayStation one is? Because I know that
air. Just use forward and left and right to maneuver around on the surface.
I will.
Press jump to dive down for another swim about, or go to the edge and press action to climb out.
Alright, I'll do that now shortly, Lara. As we all know and love, this level is coming to an end. But yeah, so Lara is looking amazing. These modern controls are strange. Oh, I love that. I love that. They've modeled the braid, and obviously Lara doesn't have a braid in the original Tomb Raider because they actually hadn't worked out yet how to do that. That was another thing that kind of struck me when I came back to this game as a child. From the second game, I was so used to Lara having a braid that then coming back to this game where it's all tied up, that was one way around it. They've like the braid is kind of realistically just doing its own thing on floating on top of the water. I really like that. That's class. Wow. Yeah, super cool. I suppose I'm going to get out of the water and then we're going to leave it right there, ladies and gents, with this first episode. I know it's a short episode, there's not much going on, but I think level by level, just to really get a sense of what these guys have achieved with this remaster, I think are important. These modern controls, don't know if I'm going to be playing it like this. Being able to make Lara do that and then freely move the camera around. What is actually nice is to be able to really look at Lara's model in the game. To really get a nice look around at all the work they put in at the time. And now, of course, to really get a good appreciation of it. Do you know this? Seeing Lara in the CG version really makes me think how amazingly cast Angelina Jolie was for the part. She's like the perfect look of a lady to play as Lara. Anyway, right.
Now I'd better take off these wet clothes.
I'm sure you should, Lara. Anyway, welcome to my home. There we go. Trophy has been achieved. I'm gonna move my camera just down there for further episodes, I suppose. Just so I can have the health bar on screen. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. As I said, a short episode. A lot of the episodes will probably be quite short because some of these levels in this game are actually quite short. But I'm really excited to have started my entire Tomb Raider playthrough. There's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations as we go on. And actually, I forgot to even mention, and I don't know where they are on the... Are they in here? Yes, they are. So that's what I was just about to say. I have not played any of the Tomb Raider Gold stuff, and which is funny because I was a PC player. So Tomb Raider Gold usually came with, we could call them DLCs now, but expansion packs for the original 3 games, and there is actually an expansion for the 4th game as well, which was released as a demo, I believe, with some newspaper, the Times, I think it was released with the Times or some newspaper anyway at the time, and I'll get around to that when we get to it. But I will also be playing all of the Tomb Raider DLCs for the first time. I actually don't know, will I play the DLCs on this version? Will it feel wrong? I don't know. We'll get into it when we get into it, but it'll actually be my first time playing any of the goals fully through. I've played like the opening level of the 2nd and 3rd. I think I might have seen the opening level of Unfinished Business, but I just didn't own them growing up until much later, and that's something that I'm going to be looking forward to. I love it. They've also modelled her passport there photo, and she's got her hair down in the passport photo. We're only getting a brief glimpse of it there. But of course, next episode I'm going to be starting, and you couldn't see any of this stuff. That's what I was talking about, sorry. So yeah, the passport has been fully modelled, which is pretty class. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to continue on, and we're going to get to started the game for real in the next episode. I think it's good to do the house, you know. Lara's mansion is iconic. It's an iconic tutorial level. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let's listen to that beautiful music. If I press start now, oh wow, I didn't even try that. More things. Yeah, look, you can flick back and forth between the old and new. That's so awesome. That's actually class. I love it. Yes, right, enough. Leave people to it. 43 minutes is way too long for the first episode of this, but there's so much to look at and so much to talk about. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, catch me the next time on the continuing playthrough of Tomb Raider and the rest of the series. See you next time. Good luck and goodbye.